Welcome to the Lunch with Legends Talk series, proudly sponsored by Steamships. This platform brings together employees, partners, and friends for open, engaging conversations on topics that matter. For our February session, we're celebrating Women in STEM, Science in Action, featuring 4 remarkable women who are applying scientific and technical expertise across our divisions.
Warm welcome to everyone that have joined us today, and of course to those that have joined us online. Thank you so much for deciding to spend your lunch with us with the legends here. So my name is Patience Hahambu. I am in my second year with the GDP program. I'm currently with Pacific Towing as a customer operations analyst. And it is my absolute honor and privilege to moderate and of course help to host this session. Our theme for today, for this session, is Women in STEM, Science in Action, aligning with the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. Today is all about celebrating steamships, leading women in the area of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Thank you. These ladies are leading in their respective area of engineering, safety, sustainability, and of course, corporate leadership across steamships. If you look around steamships, STEM is all around us. It is everywhere in our business. And today, we are joined by 4 outstanding women who bring reality and life to science to life in their work every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me this time to introduce our 4 amazing panelists for this session. Our first panelist is Valerie Popal. Valerie Popal is a junior project manager with Pacific Palms Property. Valerie began her journey with steamships as a contracts administrator, supporting major developments across our property division, such as the Windward Recreational Area refurbishment and the Harborside South Play Area. Her strong performance and growing technical capability led to her promotion as the junior project manager, where she now leads and drives sustainable initiative, prominently the EDGE certification across all PPP properties. Thank you, Valerie, for being with us today. Our second panelist for this session is Ms. Suzanne Cholai, HSSC Officer for Steamships Hospitality Division. Suzanne currently serves as the HSSC officer for our hospitality division, our Coral Sea Hotels. She supports hotel teams through safety training, incident management, and continuous improvement. Suzanne is driven by a passion for workplace safety and problem solving, which has grown from supporting basic HSSC processes and leading key initiatives that strengthen safety, performance, and risk management across our hotels. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a hand to Suzanne. Thank you, Suzanne. Our third panelist for this session is Elaine Gavuri. Elaine Gavuri is Workshop Electrical Superintendent for Joint Venture Port Services. Elaine began a humble journey with the logistics division, namely the Joint Venture Port Services, in 2004 as an electrical trade assistant. In just over a year, she completed her Level 1 electrical mechanic certification, earned her electrical general license, and is pursuing Level 2 and 3. Elaine has recently been promoted to the Workshop Electrical Superintendent, where she now oversees the electrical maintenance, industrial equipment, and systems reliability across Joint Venture Port Services. Thank you so much, Elaine, for being with us today. And finally, our last panelist for this session is Ms. Rhonda Kopman. Rhonda Kopman is a Sustainable Development Manager with Steamships Trading Company. Rhonda leads sustainability for the Steamships Group, embedding responsible, future focused practices into the way steamships operate as a business in PNG. Her career spans public affairs, corporate communications, hospitality, FMCG, sales and marketing, and sustainability, giving her a broad strategic lens that drives our environmental, social, and governance progress across Steamships Trading Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to Rhonda. And to all our panelists for today's session, thank you so much for taking the time out of your work to share with Steamships how you are leading STEM in your respective area. So, without further ado, let us begin. Our first segment for this panel discussion is their journey into STEM, the area of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics across Steamships. To begin, I'd like to take us back to your personal journey in STEM here at Steamships. So our first general question to all our panelists for today is, what sparked your interest in your respective field, and where did your journey with STEM begin? So for this, we can start off, of course, with Miss Rhonda. So Miss Rhonda, take it away.
Thank you. I think for me, it's just, over the course of my career, a number of doors have opened. And I think it was always the eagerness to learn new things along the way. That I guess when the doors open, you take advantage of those opportunities. And I think naturally through that, my career has just segued down this path. So. Still learning, but it's been a great journey so far.
All right, thank you. Good day, everyone. Thank you, Patience, for that question. I think for me, it was just a curiosity to understand how things work. So I come from a environmental science background. You may be wondering how that transitioned into health and safety, but it sort of relates in the aspect of how things work in safety as well, and just the continuous improvement on how we can, improve safety and the people that work within our business. If that makes sense.
It does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. As introduced, I'm Elaine, and as a certified low voltage electrician, I'd like to say that I'm more interested in the tangible side of STEM, literally keeping the lights working to the motors running. My career into STEM, I've always seen myself pursuing a career in STEM. I've always had a passion for fixing things and being hands-on with things. And when I graduated in 2022 with my diploma in electrical technology, and I was so desperate for a job at that time. And I've applied to almost every electrical company that I could come across. And after 2 weeks of graduating, I secured a job with Port Moresby Electrical, and my manager then, late Wayne Brearley, he got me the first day and he said this. He said, I could show you all the tricks that you could learn in this field, but you have to bring the passion into it. And that really shaped my my professional career into being who I am today. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine.
Hi everyone, good day. So originally, I was not interested in STEM. I was more into drawing, architecture, designing, but my parents pushed me to try something new. And I'm glad they did, because going into engineering opened my eyes to how the world works and how things are done. So every day is a learning experience. And from engineering shifting into sustainability was very new for me, but it coincides, like it matches in a way. So connects in a way. So sustainability and design ties back into engineering. So I'm excited for that journey.
Thank you, Valerie.
Also add that through Valerie's work, because of what she's been doing in PPP, and particularly focusing on Edge, she's been identified as a
Break down edge. What does edge mean?
Edge.
People don't know what edge is.
Yeah, I should give this to Valerie.
I blank out sometimes. So to put it in layman terms, edge is green building, design of green buildings. So water saving, electricity saving, and also using materials that don't, what's the word?
Basically ensuring that there is efficiency.
Yeah,
In our building. This is an example of it, and I think just through her work, she has been identified as an SD lead for us in properties division. So, I mean, might be a little bit premature to say it now, but yeah, eventually that's where she's gonna go down to be our support within properties division.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rhonda. So Steamships, for many of you know, we are the leading sustainability implementer here in PNG, which is something that we all should be proud of. So as a woman in STEM, STEM can be a very intimidating field for many when they hear it. But these ladies are leading the pathway for it. So my next question to all our panelists, what are some of the challenges and the barriers that you face as a woman in this field? If you could share with us, that would be very lovely. Thank you. And we can start off with, of course, Elaine. Right next to me.
Being a woman in a male-dominated field is a constant exercise in grit, because there is more to just working with men. You have to solve issues. You have to constantly communicate with them what's happening. And one of the most challenges as a woman in this field, and of course I've seen firsthand among female colleagues, is being able to regulate your emotions professionally. It comes down to you, and personally I think that I would choose to control my emotions, understand, manage, and if I want to respond constructively, it's up on me, or I would choose to respond impulsively. I think that's one of the most challenging things that I face on a daily basis working among men.
So just to add on to that too, coming in to a corporate setting from the field setting, the challenge out in the field is how we can be on the same level as the men, but not be disrespectful as well. So it's the way you talk to men, like you want to match their energy, but then how do we match it without being disrespectful, because they are still men, and especially for the ones that are older. So starting off my journey, I was in the field, taking care of the roadworks and the machinery and the operators on the machines with 5 years, 6 years experience, and I'm coming in as a new grad trying to lead and tell them what to do. It was very hard because they don't listen to women, especially a younger lady like myself. So that was a really big challenge, and just how to regulate my emotions as well. Find out to run away, go and cry, because it was just, oh, they said this to me. But over the years, you get to learn how to be more professional and how to conduct yourself while speaking to men, but also putting up that boundary, like, I'm on your level, please respect me and I'll respect you too, kind of thing.
Thank you. We'll continue this conversation over to the other side with Rhonda.
Thank you. I think just to also expand on that, but like aside from people being a barrier to your progress, I think one of the biggest things as well is ourselves, our mindsets. You are what your mind tells you are, and I do a lot of self-talking, and I'm not sure, and actually I'm pretty sure every one of us has experienced imposter syndrome, where you think you don't belong in the room, you don't belong at the table. I think those times you pull yourself back. You're there for a reason. You know, ask the questions anyway, contribute anyway, take the seat anyway, and I think over time the room will feel more familiar. So I think, yeah, just aside from that, I think we're our biggest hindrance of success. But always remind yourself that you have a purpose. There's a reason for everything. There's a reason why you're there. Yeah, and believe in yourself. I think you need to talk to yourself. Put yourself first before you think about how others will, perceive you. And because most of the time, I think people just go to bed and you're up at night thinking, "Oh my gosh, I said this," and your mind is like is a war field, when really no one remembered the mistake. So yeah, allow yourself some grace. Be gentle on yourselves.
Okay. The question was on challenges. Okay. I think I'd agree with what Elaine said in terms of regulating your emotions, having to be able to approach things as a woman in such fields. That, and also just being able to work twice as hard to prove yourself in this field or in any male dominated field, just to be taken seriously, like what you say, what you do. Sometimes, men, they tend to look down on you just because you're female. I think that's one of the main challenges that not only women in this field, but women in general face on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause to our panelists. Thank you. So they touched on some of the most prevalent barriers in having a career, not only as a woman in STEM, but generally as a woman. Now, you've talked about your career, your barriers and how you have overcome them. Just touching a little bit on building your credibility, and they say that it's a man's world out there, but for you to put your mark out there and being able to say, I can do this, I'm credible at what I do. What were some of the actions, or how did you go about in doing that? And for that, I'll leave that question. We can start off with Rhonda. Thank you.
Sorry, the question again.
How you were able to build confidence and credibility in your area.
In my experience, it's taking heed of the mistakes that you have made, growing with it, and getting the job done at the end of the day. I think that really adds to building your credibility and confidence in the people that are reliant on you to deliver. So that has, in my experience, that has been the biggest factor. Is I have no other way to prove that. I can talk as much as I want to, I can do glossy presentations, but I think at the end of the day is delivering when I say I will deliver, and also learning from the mistakes that I've made, and yeah, being better, getting better, and also helping those around you as well learn as you progress, I guess.
Thank you, Rhonda. So we move to Elaine. Being a woman in a highly electrical field, I know that there are many challenges. How do you go about improving your credibility to your colleagues at Joint Venture Port Services?
Thanks, Patience, for the question. It's tough, and there's on a daily basis there's gonna be a lot of issues. Some you see coming, some you don't. So in this field, you have to know what you're doing. You have to know how to diagnose something. You have to know how to fix it. If you don't go by the book, buildings burn, people get hurt. So we have in electrical, we have what we call the standards of wiring. It's affectionately referred to as the Bible. It's Australia and New Zealand standards 2018. We also have the verification of cable selection and also what we call the trade circular from PNG Power. So these books, they guide us into doing what we do daily. You have to know what's in it. You have to just go by the book. If you miss something, like I said, people get hurt. So going back to patients questions, how do I build my credibility? I just have to be a professional. I have to, and this is something that Greg always says during our toolbox. You have to be a professional in your own little lunchbox. And I think that really sticks with me all the time. Even if no one is watching, you have to do what is right. And over time, you build your credibility. You prove to the company that your word being kept. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Elaine, for that. We'll move on to Valerie. You can answer that question. Being, of course, a woman in the space of project management, property development, being in rooms with all these different contractors, how do you build your credibility so that they can trust you? And yes.
There's not really anything else that I can add on because Rhonda and Elaine has pretty much said everything. You have to know what you're talking about with them. First impressions count. So if you know what you're doing, stand there with the what's the word? Courage, but more confidence, yes. So if you stand there with the confidence to speak, know what you're talking about, then your credibility builds from there as well. So.
Thank you so much, Valerie. We'll move on, of course, to our next segment, Science in Action in Your Everyday Work. Now, this is where our panelists will share with us how they bring science into reality in how they approach their day-to-day task. So starting off with Suzanne for our first question, in simple terms, how does science influence the work that you do every day within our hospitality division?
Very good question. I think when people say science, sometimes we automatically think chemistry, biology, what else? Biology, yeah. But I think in my field, in HSSC, it's more to do with people. So I consider that behavioral science, so how people work, how people think. So to sort of bring that into my work is just being able to deliver on how people understand things, the processes, the standard operating procedures that we implement throughout our systems, just making sure that it's understandable to people so that they can sort of like comply and do things the right way because they understand what's being implemented.
Thank you so much. We'll, of course, move to Rhonda for that question.
Science for us on a daily basis is, like Suzanne has said, and when you think science, you think about all the science subjects that we've taken in school. I guess for us is applying a little bit more analytical and technical thinking to what we do and dealing with data. So a lot of what we do is, I guess, informed by the information and the data that we collect from all the divisions. For example, it informs, the decision to install solar panels on our rooftops as opposed to using diesel generators. So yeah, it's pretty much part of our daily, and I'm sure for a lot of yous as well.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause to Rhonda. So our next question is to Valerie, so from Pacific Palms Property, what systems, data, or engineering principles that guide your decision making in how you approach your work?
Okay, so I'm just gonna base this on EDGE certification. Um, if there were no user guides, I wouldn't know what I was doing. So, like the user guide for EDGE, it would be like what Elaine said, the Bible. Can't know what or how you're going to do things or navigate the app as well online to input the data needed to ensure that the building can be EDGE certified. So it's just the books that we read, the training that we go through really help.
Thank you. So we'll move on to Elaine, of course, with the same questions. What systems, data, or technical principles that guide your decision making in how you approach your role as the electrical superintendent at Joint Venture Port Services?
It's I'm more into the practical, and of course I have to know what I'm doing. My the core role of what I do is to diagnose and fix things, but it goes beyond that. I not only run cables. I have to if you apply systems thinking into my daily work, I have to know the long-term reliability into what I am doing. So if I know that there's, for example, there's a vessel coming in, right, into the wharf, I have to ensure that the team that is going to be working on that vessel have everything that they have to work during the night. So I ensure that they have standby genset, they have things to use in the night, all the power equipments are working and they're efficient. So in what I do, I try to be operationally efficient in providing everything that the company needs.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause to Elaine. So the final question for this second segment, Science in Action, is directed to all our amazing panelists. So this question is, what is something about your role that people often underestimate? And of course, we can start with Suzanne on this.
Because you look so unassuming.
Take that as a compliment. Okay. Sorry, can you just repeat
I
it?
can rephrase the question. So how do you, let's say people underestimate your role, and how do you go about in doing that?
I think when people underestimate me, how I would say I approach that is just be myself and just bring exactly what I think I am capable of to the table. Yeah. We had a what they call it pre-brief before this session, and I told I told this once that I feel, oh my gosh.
You're fine, you're fine.
Yeah, I said, guys, I'm not gonna cry, okay? I know it's gonna be a very emotional session, having to speak about in this field and all of that. So yeah, I think with women in science or in STEM, you get underestimated a lot. People just don't know your capabilities and they look down on you. So it's just you, the matter of you believing in yourself, like I mentioned already, and delivering to the best of your abilities.
Thank you. So, like for sustainability, I think what a lot of people don't realize is how much influence it has on business strategy. It basically informs, risk management, long-term planning, future-proofing our business. So all of that does happen behind the scene. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much the depth of where it can get to. that a lot of people don't necessarily know about.
Thank you. And of course, we'll move the conversation to this side. As young women in STEM, I know that it can be challenging at times. How do you deal when people underestimate how you show up at work and what you do?
Okay, so I wanted to add on to what Suzanne said, to know what you're capable of. So I'm a civil engineer by profession, but I don't tell people about it because I think I'm not good enough yet. So that's actually something I just wanted to add on, that just have to know and be proud of what you are doing as well.
Thank you. It's actually a very tough question because you get this constantly if you're working among a lot of people, and especially like what Valerie said, older people and men. And most of these assumptions are based on the fact that I'm physically incapable or that I'm technically incompetent. So like in situations that this happen, like especially when I go for inspection, they probably expect a man to show up for inspection. So what I do is I walk them through the technical plan for the day, and that redirects their attention from my gender to my expertise. So I think the only thing that you have to keep doing in this field is to show consistent credibility by proving yourself and earning the respect for others.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause to our panelists. Thank you for all the insightful answers. Now we'll take a deep dive into STEAMships and how it is creating a conducive environment for our young women or our women in general to flourish in their respective role. So from your respective jobs, would you mind sharing a few insight into how Steamships Trading Company as an organization has provided that safe space and that environment for you to flourish as a woman in this field of STEM? And of course, we can start off to this side. Valerie?
Okay, so I'm very grateful to Steamships putting me into sustainability. Well, I'd like to thank Alan Haynes for that. Steamships has supported me in my training to become an edge expert, and I was also privileged to be nominated and take part in the FLDP program last year. So just want to
It has been a wonderful journey in Steamships, especially joint venture port services, where you have all the mentorship and the ever-present supportive management. Greg, Philip, Alma, they're amazing. And they're very supportive of their employees. I came in 2024 as a TA, trade assistant. That's just like you having a certificate or national certificate or a diploma or bachelor in electrical. But after a year and three months, I have now my general license to practice electrical, and I had my level 1. I'm also in the process of getting level 2 and 3 in electrical mechanics. So that only reflects the type of management we have here in Steamships. They uplift young, enthusiastic people where they see fit. And I'd like to encourage people who would like to join Steamships or who we are working here in Steamships that it's an amazing organization where they have so much support for their employees in any way they can. But the only thing that we need to give back to the company is that we have to work our best to show them and prove to them that we are capable and that we deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elaine. We'll move to this side of the conversation.
Yeah, I think the girls have pretty much shared, covered it, I guess. I guess for me is the challenge really goes out now to everyone and others that are, if you're looking to pursue a certain role at Steamships, having worked in other organizations and then coming in, I honestly, there's so many opportunities within Steamships itself. So, and when I say opportunities, it's, it's being able to initiate a program internally, whether it's getting a group of people together and I don't know, hosting a company community event or something sustainable out in our communities. Yeah, when I came in, I saw this as a gold mine. It's like, oh my gosh, there's so many opportunities. I don't even know where to start. But obviously, I have to focus on my function. So, and there are times I'm like trying not to get into the communication and the marketing piece of things. It's like, come back, come back. You need to do this. But there's so many opportunities. Don't restrict yourselves. Don't limit yourselves. And I think this company, compared to a lot of companies, we've got a large population of people that sit within the age of 24 to 34, 30, yeah. So that age bracket itself, I've not seen it anywhere else. I mean, not that I've been in a lot of companies, but like being here, because I know what the first time I came in, yeah, I was surprised to see a lot of young people in this organization. And just, I guess, apart from just women, I think generally as a young population, that itself already shows that the company is giving that opportunity to that, group of individuals or that age bracket. So challenge yourselves. There's so much to do. Don't be afraid to suggest something new.
Thank you so much, Rhonda. And with that everything being said, I am also a testament of what Steamships is doing to young women across Papua New Guinea. Being part of the GDP program, Steamships has really provided a platform for me to develop and of course to give back to my country. So let's put a round of applause to Steamships Trading Company. Thank you. All right. Our last segment is representation and the future of women, but not only women, but people in the area of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So let's look ahead to the future and what representation mean for women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics here in Steamships. So our first question, of course, to our panelists is, what has your experience been as a woman working in this field? We can start off with Elaine.
My journey has been. Is that question directed to my career or here?
Your career.
Okay. My career has been consistently transformative, I'd say. The most important thing that while being here that I've learned is that you have to. I personally have advanced my skill looking back a few years when I first graduated to here a year and 3 months. I've advanced in my skill and my expertise, and it has been a wonderful experience because of the management that I work with. It has transformed me from one stage to another.
Thank you, Elaine. We can move to Suzanne to share a bit of her experience with us working in the area of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Okay, I think my experience in that field and within Steamships is just being able to grow and learn as much as I could. So, like for example, for me, I never took safety in school, and this is my first employment with Steamships. I mean, first employment, and then it's with Steamships. So just being able to learn from my everyday tasks and also the trainings that Steamships has provided, which has brought me to where I am today. And I'm grateful for that, for Steamships for that. And also, just having that avenue to grow and to learn as much as you can. Yeah.
Sorry, patience.
Rhonda, that's all good. So you're just taking a look back on your journey in STEM and how you've been here where you are now today, could you share a little bit on your experience coming from various organizations and stepping now into the active role of, leading sustainability here at Steamships? How has the experience been like for you?
Yeah, I think first of all is allowing yourself to learn new things, and to grow, not take things personally. I think that really does help in terms of your own growth and development in your career. Yeah, I think because of the different experiences I've had with different roles, it has really impacted how I see. So I don't know if you've kind of picked up. I look at things more broadly than just as me as an individual. And again, all of that experience has shaped how I see things. And coming into this role, I think, gosh, I'm kind of lost. Yeah, I think, I'm sorry, you're going to have to.
That's okay. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So
Sorry, I was going to tell you guys my life story.
if we have the time, we would love to hear it, but we'll move on to our next question. So this is about representation for women in steamships. So steamships has been around Papua New Guinea for over 100 years, and we're planning on being here for another 100. My question to you is that, from your perspective as a leading woman in STEM, how can organizations like Steamships create and support women in STEM here in the organization? And we can start off with, I'll put the mic here with Valerie.
Yeah, well, just basing it off of my journey with steamships, just providing ways and avenues for women to grow, but not sidelining the men as well. So equal opportunities for all.
I'd like to encourage women or those that are considering to take careers in STEM that it's not bad at all, it's the best. And if you're considering or if you've taken a career in STEM, I think just do the job and the job will love you. And I think one of the best options that I personally think is on how organizations would better support women in STEM. Is that the question? Is that to create an avenue or platform for women in STEM careers to have get-togethers, find mentors, find collaborators, or to share challenges and successes within themselves and to support each other.
Thank you, Elaine. Suzanne, would you like to share a bit on that as well? How steamships can provide a conducive or a good environment for young women to go into the area of STEM?
Good question. I think it's just for steamships to be able to just shine more light on women and their talent. And we see that a lot of the times in male-dominated fields, 2 men and not necessarily 2 women. So I think just being able to uplift them, if it's through training or promotions or whatnot, because I know and I've seen how women, they bring more than just capabilities to the table. And I believe with that capability is enough to grow a business and to strengthen whatever we have in the business.
Thank you, Suzanne. And we'll finish the question with Rhonda to share a bit.
Basically, I think they've said everything that could possibly be said around this. But again, I'm going to go back to encouraging the business. I think a lot of the times we look to the business to create opportunities and avenues for us. But I think we also have, the opportunity. We've been empowered as well as people, employees of this organization, to suggest and implement platforms that you know, whether it's to have a round the table discussion. I mean, look at this, what we're having right now. That was born out of someone's great idea, and we're currently having it, you know. And it's only through this that we're learning about each other. So I think we also have, I guess, influence to create those kind of platforms.
Thank you so much. Let's give another round of applause to our panelists. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our roundtable discussion on this side, and we will give the remaining time to our lovely audience online. Of course, if you're joining us online and if you have any questions, do drop them in the chat box. We have Christopher there to direct the questions to our panelists, and we'll now give the time to our audience. If you have any questions to ask, please feel free to do so. Thank you. Another round of applause to our panelists so much. Thank you for sharing your insights, and over to the audience.
Hi, everyone. I've really enjoyed that, so thank you very much. This isn't really a question. It's just as I've been listening, I don't know, maybe it's just my age and imparting some of my wisdom. But as women, don't be afraid of your emotion. Emotion is our superpower. It is what makes us stand out and be different from men in some instances. Our emotional intelligence and our way to read people. Don't be afraid of that. Like, embrace it, and don't try to be too much like the guys, because the diversity is so important. So our diversity and our thought. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Go the girls. Thank you. Any questions? Any comments?
Just one. So recommendations that I saw each of you give, by the way, congratulations. There are a whole lot of you. Like I said, unassuming. Who would have known that, like, one of you is a superintendent, the other one is a civil engineer who's such an expert in edge, and very unassuming. Susan, you see her, you're just like, she walks through and you wouldn't even guess, but that's your HSEQ officer there was able to butt heads with, people about safety and all that. You're amazing. And Miss Rhonda, first time I met her, and I thought, sustainability, I mean, what does she know? And she's been able to blow my mind out of the water every now and then. So you have such amazing people there. Someone brought up the whole idea about going forward. What would be some of the things that you can propose? And I completely support Kels on the idea that you own your space. And I know we position the whole concept around, we're girls and we're working in a space that is boys. That's important, but it's not as important as you as an individual. And you have to own that space first. You have to be comfortable in the skin that you have, the brains that is, what's between your ears, more than what defines us as far as our gender is concerned, because you're where you are on merit. So when we, there was supposed to be a question there somewhere. So what is your question? But okay, so I'll get to it now. We talked about collaboration. We talked about, a forum, a space where we can all come together. Now, CA made that possible. We put up the 10,000 kina for the staff collaboration grant. That was for these kind of things. Now, if you wanted to do something like this, like 4 of you, if you were to apply for an idea, 10,000 each, you're looking at 40,000. What do you want to do with that if it's to do with STEM? Those are the kind of things that we need you to think outside of the box. So again, STEMship is doing everything that any employer would do for you to be able to grow. There's so many things that you can do that can really sort of, you can hone in on your skills, whether it's to be the best you want to be at EDGE or at SD or HSEQ, your profession, whatever it is, you can be able to do that here in a space that gives you that flexibility of growth. And another point that you mentioned that I really wanted to also want you guys to think about, mentorship. There's so many women within STEMships. There's so many amazing women that has gone through STEMships that are in other companies that are holding positions that, practically someone that others would look up to, we would look up to, I would look up to, you would look up to. How can we do this cross-pollination of mentees looking up at mentors, you identifying it? And these are some of the things that I really want you to think about when we're looking at the staff grant. would a mentorship program be something? And we've got people like Zinni, we've got people like Kels that are sitting here. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not speaking on Kelly's behalf, but I'm pretty sure she would love a get-together, lunch and learn, maybe a monthly thing with people that just want to pick a brain on not only procurement. I mean, she's been, not to say she's been around for a long time, but I mean, like, beautiful red hair. Who wouldn't want to learn from her? Like that. Miss Hills comes in once a few months or so. Those are the kind of people that I would want to encourage you. Check them out, look them up. Miss Rhonda sitting there, others that are sitting around the room that you could pair up with. You're looking at mentors, you don't have to look outside. And that's what we as women really need these days. Want to hone in on your emotional intelligence. You want to hone in on being able to own the space you walk in. And you were talking about that. Owning, and even if you don't, given a space, create your own space. Those are the kind of things that you can do when you start having this wonderful, group of mentors around you, people you can be able to have as sounding boards. If I keep on talking, I'm not going to stop. So anyway, so thank you for this time.
Thank you, Miss Ruth Kisam, for that amazing comment. To our panelists, we have officially come to the end. So to our panelists, ladies and gentlemen, join me once more to thank them for their time and their contribution to this very insightful discussion. And of course, not forgetting that I will now leave this time. I've been signaled, so I'll leave this time to the organizers, Christopher, to take the stage and, of course, finish us off.
Thank you to those of you online. It's been quite a session. It's very insightful. We appreciate you sharing your journey with us. To close things up, Miss Ruth, I'll ask you to come up and say something. To those of you that don't know Miss Ruth is the General Manager for Corporate Affairs. I know she said a lot, but I know she has something more to say. Okay, thank you.
Miss Anna is saying that I should say it in 2 minutes. Okay, so 2 minutes and we're up. But I want to say thank you once again to everyone that is here. But please, can we put our hands together for this amazing moderator? She really did a good job, and I think this is what we want to see, where you're able to create your own spaces and you're able to have these kind of discussions that not only provoke you to think outside the box, and like we have amazing people. I see all the time, and every time I see Valerie, I'm like, oh, very nice hair. Because who would have thought that she was a civil engineer? So those are the kind of things. We don't get to know each other in here, but these are the kind of spaces that we want to create where we come together, collaborate, bring in ideas. And like I said, so we're trying to incentivize those ideas by putting up those kind of grants that I talked about. So please, if any one of you, and you can keep it private if you want to, like for Gen Z only, that's fine too, but invite us for just, maybe a minute or two. But those are the kind of things that we would really love for you to have. So, and for this, you can come out with something, women in STEM, within STEMships. This could also be something, a forum for women only that are in STEM and how you want to, help support each other and all that. Or men. We have to see our men as allies. Some of us, we grew up on the shoulders of some amazing, very strong men. We own the space that we have because of our fathers, because of our brothers, because of our husbands, because of our sons, So, man, there is no us versus them. A cat and a dog can never be able to compete with each other. We're two different species. So you got to own your species. So that's the thing that I really want us to sort of put down. For me is amazing work environment is when, the two species decide to find their space and work together and collaborate. And so thank you very much for this. I think my 2 minutes is up. Thank you once again. Have the free meal and enjoy your work.